Hello guys, I'm so back now. Let's upload some videos. I know it takes a little bit while to take like 26 days to commit to come back, but now I'm finally back here, not just upload something else.
Guys, we may have just witnessed the best Scientology run yet. I thought it was over, but no, it looks like things are still just getting started. This time around, it's a bunch of people who are dressed up and they got Jesus leading the pack. He yanks on the door nonstop, doesn't care about security. They finally get through and everybody scatters. There is literally nothing the people in the building can do at this point. They made it so deep into the building, I don't even know how many floors they got up, but it looked like absolute chaos for whoever is in charge of the place. It has literally gotten so out of hand that Scientology buildings are now taking off the door handles so that nobody can pry through them, which I'm pretty sure is illegal because of like fire hazards, but I guess they have no choice. I love when the internet comes together to do something awesome like this. Absolute cinema.
These are problems that I have with school rules. There are some things that never sat well with me about the rules that schools lay out, indirectly and directly. Like, I find it crazy, for example, when a student is blatantly 4 months bullying another student, the teachers will completely turn a blind eye. Like, they won't do anything about it. But then the exact moment that the student that's getting bullied stands up for themselves, the teachers are all like, "You're the problem. You're the aggressor." I've seen that happen so many times throughout my life. I'll never understand why this is a thing. I also find it kind of weird that you have to ask to use the bathroom, especially after the age of 16. Like, before the age of 16, I get it, you know? But asking for permission to use the toilet and then getting rejected to go use the bathroom, it's like, what are you talking about? What is this? Another one, not being allowed water bottles in class. I had this one class after gym that wouldn't allow any water bottles in the class. You'd have to go to the hall to go drink your water or go to the water fountain. But then that same teacher would reject you when asking to go use the bathroom or go drink water. Like, what is this limitation? I'm sure that can't be allowed. I don't know if that's just a Canada thing, but hey, you let me know.
Breaking right now, apparently the United Arab Emirates announced on the 28th of April of 2026 that they are going to be exiting both OPEC and the broader OPEC Plus alliance effectively May 1st of 2026. This is a pretty big deal because the United Arab Emirates has been part of OPEC for 59 years at this point, and it's one of the most significant departures from the group since Qatar left in 2019. Now, some of the reasons why they are leaving OPEC is because they've expressed some frustration with the production quotas that OPEC had, and there's also been a lot of strained relationships over the past few months since February 28th due to all of the unrest in the Middle East and the inability to export and the difficulties in exporting and difficulties in production. A lot of these facilities have been targeted by unmanned aerial vehicles and stuff like that, so they've just been very frustrated with everything. And this is going to weaken the influence that OPEC has over the market, the global oil market. Now, just as a quick backstory, because a lot of people don't know what the significance of OPEC is or what OPEC even stands for. So OPEC stands for Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, which was formed on September 10th through the 14th in 1960 at the Baghdad Conference by the 5 founding members: Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. And basically it came out to as a response to Western oil companies that were kind of in control of global oil production at the time. So that way they could be like an opposing force to that. In August of 1960, major companies unilaterally reduced posted prices for Middle Eastern crude oil. And this is partly due to cheaper Soviet oil flooding the markets and also pressure from consumer countries for lower prices. Producing nations ended up seeing their income drop sharply and felt powerless individually. So that's one of the reasons why they stood this stuff up, so that they could have more of an impact on the global price of oil and have less outsiders influencing how much money they're able to make off of exporting fossil fuels. Now, initially, OPEC's mission from its founding was to coordinate and unify petroleum policies among member countries, secure fair and stable prices for petroleum producers, and ensure an efficient economic and regular supply of petroleum to consuming nations.
These are problems.
President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania welcomed the King of England and also Queen Camilla to the White House today on the 27th of April of 2026. Now, this is relatively significant because the last time a British monarch visited the United States to go to the White House was in 2007. And this is like marking a lead up to the 250th anniversary of American independence from the United Kingdom. Now, obviously, because of the two nations both being English speaking and the fact that we used to be part of the United Kingdom at one point before we obtained independence, there's a special relationship between the two countries. And these visits typically involve like formal ceremonies, special state dinners, and addresses to Congress occasionally. Apparently, the first time a reigning monarch of the United Kingdom visited the United States was back in 1939 when King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, the future Queen Mother, visited the United States just prior to World War II's outbreak. And then Queen Elizabeth II made numerous notable trips to the United States, including in 1957, which was her first state visit as queen, hosted by President Dwight D. Eisenhower, which a lot of people believed was intended to help mend relations between the United States and the United Kingdom after the Suez Crisis. And then again in 1976 during the bicentennial of the U.S. independence. And then in 1991, Queen Elizabeth II addressed a joint session of Congress, which is also very rare for a British monarch. And then in 2007, Queen Elizabeth II visiting President George W. Bush, which was the last time before today that a reigning British monarch visited the United States. According to tons of different sources, Somali pirates recently hijacked the small oil tanker called Honor 25 off of Somalia's northeastern coast in the Indian Ocean on late Wednesday, April 22nd of 2026. Apparently, the ship is a small tanker carrying approximately 18,500 barrels of fuel or oil, and it had departed from Berbera, or Somaliland, earlier and was en route to Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, when it was hijacked. Apparently, 6 armed gunmen overran the vessel about 30 nautical miles offshore, and then it was later moved closer to the coast. 5 more armed men boarded afterwards, bringing the total to at least 11 pirates. Now, the crew consists of 10 people, apparently 10 Pakistanis, 4 Indonesians, 1 Indian, 1 Sri Lankan, and 1 from Myanmar, and they're all currently being held hostage. Now, right now, the tanker's anchored just off the Somali coast between the fishing towns of Zafun and Bandar Bela in Puntland's Bari region. This is still a developing story, and I don't know if they've figured out. I'm guessing they're contacting their countries, or I don't know how they're going to try to extort money from these folks, but they're holding them ransom. So, due to the high number of Pakistanis on board, the Pakistani authorities have reached out to them trying to figure out more details on this and see if they can bring this to a resolution. There's a security incident involving gunfire at the 2026 White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday evening on April 25th of 2026 at the Washington Hilton in Washington, D.C. Now, this is being reported by literally every mainstream media organization and every person that talks about current events. Apparently, there is a bunch of loud bangs and gunfire being heard from people inside the Correspondents' Dinner. And then President Trump and First Lady Melania were quickly escorted off of the stage by Secret Service. And then the Secret Service kind of took the stage and were kind of like keeping an eye on everything else that was coming in. Apparently, an armed individual attempted to breach security near the main screening magnetometer in the entrance. That Secret Service escorted all of like the VIP elected officials out, like the president, the first lady, the vice president, the second lady, a few other people as well. But the Secret Service posted a statement on their official X account as well right after this, saying, quote, "The U.S. Secret Service, in coordination with the Metropolitan Police Department, is investigating a shooting incident near the main magnetometer screening area at the White House Correspondents' Center. The president and the first lady are safe along with all protectees. The individual is in custody. The condition of those involved is not yet known. and law enforcement is actively assessing the situation. At 9:17 p.m., President Trump posted on his Truth Social saying, "Quite an evening in D.C. Secret Service and law enforcement did a fantastic job. They acted quickly and bravely. The shooter has been apprehended, and I have recommended that we let the show go on, but will be entirely guided by law enforcement. They will make a decision shortly. Regardless of that decision, the evening will be much different than planned, and we'll just plan to have to do it again." And then at 9:36 p.m., President Trump posted again saying law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with protocol, which we will do immediately. I will be giving a press conference in 30 minutes from the White House press briefing room. The First Lady plus the Vice President and all cabinet members are in perfect condition. We will be speaking to you in a half an hour. I've spoken with all the representatives in charge of the event, and we will be rescheduling within 30 days. So there you have it. It's been rescheduled, and that's according to the president at 9:36. So really crazy in general. But I guess they're going to have a press conference here at what looks like 10:06 p.m.
I don't know if you guys are tracking on the situation going on in Mali right now, but they're experiencing one of the most significant coordinated assaults in years. There's been reports of gunfire, explosions, and attacks on multiple locations simultaneously, including at Bamako, the capital, and also nearby Kati, which is a main military camp. There's even reports of the defense minister's house being hit. They're advising any U.S. citizens to shelter in place and avoid travel to these destinations until further information becomes available. Based on all the reports I'm seeing, it looks like one of the main players that's working out there is the JNIM, which stands for Jamaat Nasser al-Islam wal Muslimin, which is a Al-Qaeda affiliate or a main affiliate in the Sahel region. And they are widely believed to have been involved as well as coordinating with Tuareg separatists from the Azawad Liberation Front. The Malian army says that they've regained control of many parts that have been taken over and are currently conducting operations, but the scale has been described as unprecedented. Apparently, flights at Bamako airport were disrupted and the U.S. Embassy advised sheltering in place for all U.S. citizens that happen to be in the area. So there's a security.
Thank you guys for watching my new video. Now if you want more or subscribe for more homes.